to my channel, Tip on the Block. Well, I want to welcome back all my returning subscribers. Welcome back to the J Bay gang. If you have not subscribed already, you better hit that subscribe button and be a part of the J Bay gang. All right? All right, you guys. So this video is going to be about my journey to moving to New York. I mean, New York is like a dream come true to so many young people like myself. And it finally happened for me, but it wasn't easy. It was not easy. And I just want to share with you guys my experience with moving to the Big Apple. If you want to hear how all of this went down, then sit back, relax, and enjoy this video. All right? All right, you guys. So moving to New York. So I originally wanted to move to New York way back in 2016. All right, so I had been already coming here periodically, probably about 2 to 3 times a year to come visit and spend time with my friend because he lives here, he's a stylist here. And there was just something about New York and I was just like, I have to get there. First and foremost, before even coming to New York, I just felt like I needed something new in my life. You know, I was just going through things in my life and I was to the point where it's just like, this cannot be it for Tiffany Janine Martin. This cannot be it. It has to be something else. And that was something that I was struggling with. And I'm like, it's time for me to get out of here. It's time for me to get out of Missouri. You know, I want to do more with my life. And, you know, there's only so much that young people can do back in Missouri, you know. So I'm like, man, Lord, I don't know what to do. So I began to come here a lot, visit my friend. And I came to the conclusion that I'm moving to New York. I am moving to New York. So in 2016, I was already planning on moving to New York. I really didn't pray about it, but I just thought, you know, I'm going. I really didn't tell my parents, you know, it was just something like, I'm a grown woman, I'm gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? And I was telling my family, guys, I'm moving to New York. So I was already coming here periodically to check on jobs, and I went to a job agency, and the agency said, you know, well, when you get here, we should be able to find you something around the time that you're trying to come. And so I was like, okay. And I thought I had my housing situation together. You know, I was texting and calling my friend like every other day, trying to make sure like this is together. And I was just like, I'm coming. I am moving to New York in 2016. So it got closer and closer to, I think it was around like July. I was telling my sister, because we had an apartment together, I was like, Angie, go ahead, start getting everything boxed up. I'm leaving. She was like, all right. So it got to September, which is the month that we had to renew our lease. And I had to really make a decision. I'm like, yes, I am moving to New York. I had just sold my car. I'm like, I'm moving to New York, man. I really didn't tell my parents till like literally the last minute that I was moving to New York. Keep in mind, I come from a religious background, like my dad is a pastor. So for him finding out that late, it was just like, you know, why didn't you tell me? I could have been praying for you, such and such, such and such. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm a grown woman. I can make this decision, whatever. So anyway, it came to September, the month where my sister and I had to renew our lease. And it came down to the wire, you guys. Like, it came down to like the night of, because we had to have our lease situation turned in by 12 midnight by September 1st of 2016. And I was going back and forth with my friend. If he sees this video, he's gonna be cracking up. I was going back and forth with my friend, and I thought that I had everything set. Keep in mind, I had already sold my car, you guys. I thought I had everything set, and we were talking, and stuff was just not seeming right. I'm like, so is it together? We got the housing together with this. Long story short, it ended up not working out. And let me tell you, my spirits were so broken. I was so down. I was depressed. I was so bitter with my best friend. I was so bitter with him. I was just so angry because I thought I had everything set. My sister is already packing stuff up. So I found this out the next day. So at work, on my lunch break, I was just so depressed. I was just like, oh my gosh, my life is over. I'm never leaving Missouri. It's never going to change. So I end up texting my sister. I text her. I was like, I'm not moving. And she texted back. She was like, what? And she called me. I didn't answer because I was just upset. I didn't want to hear it. I was embarrassed because I had her starting to pack up stuff. She called again, I believe, and I was just like, hello. She was like, I think she knew that I was upset. She knew that, okay, let me not push this. I was just like, I'm not moving. She was like, what happened? I was like, the housing didn't go through, so I'm not moving. And I just like, I gotta go, and I just hung up the phone. And this was September, so like I said, I went off on my friend. We weren't talking really anymore. So that was October, November, December. This is December 2016. All of this time, I'm trying to like really kind of get over everything that just happened here. Like, are you kidding me? I just sold my freaking car and I'm not moving anywhere. I was telling my friends and I just felt so embarrassed. It was just so much out of me. Like, I was upset and angry with God. I was just so mad. I was so mad. So this is now December. Now going into December. So this is December. I'm carless. So I'm like, oh my God, I got to get a vehicle. I don't have the money to really get anything good. So a friend of the family, he's like a mechanic. He had this old 1995 Caravan. Caravan. And I'm going to put a picture here of what a Caravan is. So imagine a stylish girl like myself driving a 1995 Caravan. I purchased that Caravan. He charged me, I believe, $750. And you better believe I decked out this Caravan. I mean, I had fur wheel covers. I had leopard print seat covers and floor mats. I was just like, you know what? I'm not moving anywhere. This is just where my life is going to be. So you know what? Let me make myself at home. So now we're going into 2017. And around January, February, you know, I'm just like, you know, this is just where my life is. You know, I gave up on trying to get to New York. I gave up. You know, I just gave up. You know, I'm like, it's not meant for me to go anywhere. This is where my life is gonna be. You know, so this is where I'm gonna be. And I made a decision going into the new year of 2017 that, you know, this year is just gonna be different. You know, I need to, you know, start praying more, praying God's will, because the prior year, I was just like, I'm going. Nobody's going to stop me. And that's kind of the reason why I didn't tell my parents, because I felt, you know, they're going to not agree. But I was just like, this new year, I'm going to be better. I'm going to do better. So around March of that 2017 came, I'm like, okay, I want to get a new car. I can't be driving no Caravan. No. So I ended up purchasing me a 2016 Nissan Versa, which that's the same car I have now. Because I made up my mind. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere. This is my car. Let me just really get my life together now. You know what I'm saying? So April came, 2017. Something in my heart was like, Tiff, try again. Try again. Try to get to New York again. And my first thought was like, heck no, there's no way. I tried. I thought I prayed. I thought I heard God's voice in 2016. I looked a mess. I was upset, angry with my friend. We were barely talking. I'm like, no way I'm trying again. There's no way I'm risking all of this again. My car, there's no way. I'm not doing this again. So a couple of days of April passed by. It's now mid-April again. In my heart, it was just like, it wouldn't settle. Like, Tiff, this is not where you're going to be. This is not where you're going to stay. Try again. So knowing me, I've always been a curious person. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to try again. So I end up texting my friend. Out the blue, I was like, I want to try to move to New York again. Keep in mind that our relationship was already like, because of the previous year. Because like I said, I was just so angry with him. I blamed him. And it wasn't him. It just wasn't God's time for my life. But I blamed him because, like I said, I wasn't really praying like I should. I really wasn't where I needed to be in life, mentally, physically, spiritually. I was just off. I just wanted to do my own thing. I want to move, so I didn't care. But in the new year, God opened my eyes up to why the door didn't open. It wasn't time. I just wasn't where I needed to be. So anyway, I texted my friend. I was like, hey, I want to try to move to New York again. And I think he responded like, what? Like, you seriously want to try again after all that just happened last year? You know, we butted heads and, you know, you really want to try again? I was like, yeah, I want to try again. So this is April of 2017 now. And so he was just like, you know, he would ask me questions on and off, you know, through the months of May, and like, why do you want to move here? You know, do you really think this is where you need to be? Why do you want to start off somewhere so big, you know? And I was just like, I can handle it. You know, you live there, so I know you'll help me with stuff. And he's like my best friend. So I was like, I want to be where my best friend is. He was always helpful getting me my fashion opportunities. So it was just like, I want to be there. I want to be there because I know I can make it because he lives there. My friend lives there. He'll kind of help me maneuver through the city. So it's not like I'm going to be there by myself. So he was just like, long story short, he's like, all right. So we got to strategically plan this right this time. We got to really, really plan this out, in some way in those words. So he was like, well, you need, so around time and this time you need to save this much money. And, you need to start looking at LinkedIn and Indeed, start putting in applications. And as far as living arrangements, which was the issue the year before, he was like, no matter what, you'll have somewhere to stay. And I was just like, are you serious? Are you serious? He was like, yeah, no matter, you'll have somewhere to stay, but you need to at least land a job. You have to get a job, which I knew that. And so, we got done talking. And so from April to probably July of 2017, I was putting in application after application on Indeed.com, on LinkedIn. And also keep in mind too, I was praying God's will this time. And also I got my parents involved. I told my parents beginning of, when I figured out that I wanted to move this time, I told my parents, I was like, Dad, Mom, I want to move to New York. And I just want you all to pray for me. And that took a lot because I'm like, I don't want to hear them say no. Because if they say no, then I'm not going to want to go. And it's crazy because when I told my parents, my mom, my mom is mom, but my dad, I felt like, oh, he's going to be negative. But he was just like, all right, I'm going to pray for you. And I was just like, what? So it was almost like this time around, it was different. And also when I was praying this time around, I was like, Lord, if it's not your will for me to go, do not open the door. This is my prayer. This was my prayer every time. I said, Lord, because I'm not about to allow what happened in 2016 to happen this year. I'm not about to sell my car and do all of this stuff. This is not your will. So anyway, April, May, June, July, I'm looking for jobs to no avail. I was getting some calls back, but I couldn't get there for the interview, and they didn't do phone interviews, and it was just like, oh my gosh. So I'm kind of feeling some type of way like, okay, Lord, I'm not gonna be able to get a job, especially a job that's gonna pay good and I'll have benefits. I was like, well, I guess I can just work at a gas station or something. I was telling my friend, still corresponding with him. And so August came, September is coming around the time my sister and I have to renew our lease or not. So I was just like, Angie, don't renew our lease. And she was like, Tiffany, are you serious this time? Like, Tiffany, you know what happened last time. She was like, you got a place to stay? I was just like, yeah. I talked to my friend and, he was like, I don't have a place. She was like, Tiffany, no, do you have a solid place? Have you talked to the person that you're going to be staying with? Blah, 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 blah. And I could understand her concerns because sometimes I get so happy about stuff that I don't logically think well. And my sister, she's the thinker for me sometimes when I get to that point. So I was just like, yeah, I got it this time. In my heart, I just felt that peace with it. So she was like, okay. So we put in our paper stating that we were not going to renew our contract. And that's when it got real for me. It was just like, oh my gosh, I am really trying to do this. And I have no job set yet. No job. So September came. September of 2000, last year. And I was just praying. I'm like, Lord, like I said again, I'm praying this time for real. I'm like, Lord, I need a job, Lord. I don't know what to do. I don't know how I'm going to make it just with a gas station job. I mean, it's so competitive in New York. You got thousands of people applying for one position. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. So in September or October, my coworker, because I told all my coworkers, they know me. They like, Tiff, want to get to New York. And my coworker, my friend Cynthia, if you're watching this, thanks, girl. Out the blue, she was like, Tiffany, they have a position open in the New York field office. I was like, what? Now, the year that I really decided to go and the year that I really decided to trust God, a position open in New York, still with the department that I'm working in. Like, what are the freaking odds? So as soon as she told me that, man, I ran to my desk. And I looked on the site and I saw the position in New York and I applied for the position. And I'm like, oh my freaking God, I'm nervous. I'm nervous typing because I was like, I don't believe the year that I'm really trying to do things right, this door opens up out the blue. Like, and had my friend never told me this, I would have never known the position was on the website. So I know God must have talked to my friend to tell me, go tell Tiffany to look on the site and look at this New York position. So I applied for the position, right? And so that's September. So October, November, December, I heard nothing regarding this position. And I'm starting to get nervous because now the new year is coming, and March we have to be out of our apartment. Well, I do, because my sister was trying to look for a roommate. So January comes of this year, 2018. My sister was like, so Tiffany, what are you going to do? Because I'm going to put an ad out to get a roommate, or I'm going to be moving out too. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. And my sister was like, she wasn't pressuring me, but I knew that I had to make a decision. I couldn't put my sister in that position waiting for me to find an answer. I'm just like, Angie, just go ahead and find a roommate. Really inside, I'm like, don't yet, because I don't know if it's gonna work out. But I was just like, no, go ahead and start looking for a roommate. And I was like, I'm gonna make one last trip to New York. And I was like, Angie, by the time I get back from New York, I'm gonna have a decision from God. God is gonna let me know what to do. She was like, okay. I was like, I'll have an answer for you. So anyway, I go to New York for 3 days. I accomplished nothing. I accomplished nothing going to New York. But on the way back on the plane, I'm like, man, Lord, I didn't get a yes, I didn't get a no. But it was like in my heart, God said, give it more time. Give it more time. So I'm like, I got home, and I was at peace with that answer, you guys. I was at peace with that answer. So I got home. I didn't directly tell my sister, but she ended up texting me like, Tiff, did you get an answer? And I was just like, Angie, God just told me to give it more time. But I said, go ahead and really, really start looking for your roommate, or make your decision to move out, or, when our lease is up. So January is over. Keep in mind, still haven't heard anything from the job. We're going into February of this year. And I began to panic. I'm like, Lord, we have to be out of this apartment by next month, and I do not have a job, and I'm trying to make a decision to move to New York. I got to give my job a 2-week notice. What is going on? I'm like, Lord, I'm guessing I didn't get the job because, number one, why does it take so long for me to get an answer? I'm like, usually if you didn't get the job, it takes so long for you to get the notice saying that you didn't get it. So I'm like, I just didn't get the job. So I would be talking to my mom on my lunch break. I'm like, Mom, I'm giving up, whatever. It's just not meant for me to go. They haven't called me yet, And my mom was just saying, Tiffany, don't give up. Don't give up. She was like, you have to try. You have to keep trusting God. So one night I had prayed. I was just like, Lord, I've come this far. I said, God, I asked you for a job, and you open up a door opening in New York, so a state job with benefits. That opportunity came up, so I applied for it. So I'm like, Lord, I need some type of star of hope, because I'm losing hope. 3.5 months that went past, and I've heard nothing about the job, Lord. I'm like, Lord, you have to give me a sign, because things are getting down to the wire, and I'm freaking out. The next day, the human resources department called me at my job, right? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I barely could even handle the phone. I was like, hello? It was like, this Tiffany? I was like, yes, this is Tiffany. And this is the HR department that's in my building, because like I said, the New York job is still connected because it's still with the Department of Revenue. It's just the field office. They was like, yeah, we have some questions about your resume. We need you to verify some things. So I verified the things, and they was like, okay, all right, well, thank you. All right, bye. So God answered my prayer. I said I needed a sign, and the sign was telling me, you're still in the running for that position, Tiffany. So I was like, Mom, they called me, they told me, about something about the position, that I had to update something on the resume. So it came mid-February, so I'm still nervous, like, really? I have never applied for a job, and it took this long to hear a yes or no. I'm like, I guess I didn't get it, because it just doesn't take this long. So one day I was on the phone talking to my mom again. I was like, Mom, this is just not working out. It's not meant for me to move to New York. It's just not meant for me to move to New York. I was just like, maybe this is God telling me, maybe the giving more time is telling me it's a no, because the door isn't opening yet. And so I was already in my mind thinking, okay, I'm gonna move with my parents, because I know my sister is going to be out. So this just is what it is. And my mom was like, Tiffany, do not lose hope. Do not lose hope. God is my witness, y'all. I got off the phone with my mom. I went back to my desk at work, and I got a phone call from a Illinois number. I'm like, who in the world's calling for Illinois? I wasn't even gonna answer, but I was like, hello? Yeah. The guy on the line is like, yeah, I'm calling to speak to Tiffany Martin. I'm like, yeah, this is Tiffany Martin. He was like, so I ran to the back to our break room, and I was like, yeah, this is T. Martin. He's like, yeah, I'm calling you regarding the position that you applied for. Immediately my heart dropped because I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm calling regarding the position. I hear that you're trying to move to New York, and and you wanted to apply for the position, you know what I'm saying? And he was just like, well, we wanted to know if you wanted the position. I was like, oh my gosh! I was like, yes, I want the position. I want the position. He was just like, all right. He was like, well, we're going to send you your work day and when you're going to start and this, and we're so excited for you to be happy of our team, to be a part of our team in New York. And I'm just like, thank you, sir. And everything got done talking. I hung up the phone and I just started bawling, you guys. I started bawling. And I went to my desk one by one, telling the people, because I think they heard me in the back, like kind of screaming. And he was like, Tiffany, what's going on? I got the job. And a lot of my close coworkers, they all start crying. And I'm like, oh my gosh, God answered my prayer. And I was just like, this time God is with me. God is with me. And I went to go tell my mom, and my mom was like, what? Because we had just got off the phone. She was like, wow, Tiffany. And I told my sister Angie, and it was just like, y'all, it was just like crazy how God just worked all of this out. And I know it was because my mind changed the beginning of this year, because I was like, I'm going to involve my parents and I'm going to involve God more. And I said, God, if it's not your will, do not open the door. And God opened the door, y'all. God opened the door, and I'm here. I'm in New York. I've been here for going on 8 months now, working for the Department of Revenue here in the field office here. And but I will have a part 2 to this. So if you want to know about part 2 as far as my life in New York and the journey to New York, you got to stay tuned to part 2. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. Like I said, part 2 is coming with my transition to New York, getting here, traveling here, all that good old stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know, what have you prayed about? Like, what trips have you prayed about that God answered for you? Or what is something that you are praying about and you're needing signs for? Share those stories with me. I want to know. I want to encourage you to keep believing like I did and keep God involved. Because when you keep God involved, doors will open. So I love you guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Like I said before, be ready for part 2 because it's coming. It is coming, because I gotta let y'all know what life is like in the Big Apple. I love you guys. Bye.